And it's kind of setting yourself up for the ebbs and flows of this industry where it's like, I always joke where it's like, man, I'll have a week or like I'll say a month where it's like I'll have like 6 songs come out and then I'll have nothing come out for like 7 months. And then, it's just like, that's just how it goes sometimes. It's so
I had
weird.
to try almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Where like we'd get close and after some of the early success. So I thankfully had a little bit of a cushion there to get through it. But I know not who does.
Right. Yeah. It's tough.
So there's just a lot of ebbs and flows. And like you said, but my dad told me pretty early on to make sure that you're prepared for those ups and downs by just like preparing for a life that's right here.
Yep.
I think that's wise words.
Yeah, especially like fiscally, it's like one of the things I learned from you too, whereas like you always know, but then you don't like see it in action. Where it was like DJ was one of my first friends, where it was like, oh, he had like a big song and he was like really doing the thing, and like I'd work with people like that, but I wasn't like actually like close with them yet, and just seeing how smart you were with your money, where it's like, okay, it's really easy to spend stupid amounts of money when like you have it, you get these like big upfront checks and like you have a hit and the money starts pouring in and it's so easy to be done with it.
Yeah.
But it's also so much smarter to be like, cool, we're going to start investing some of this here, put this here. The goal in music is to make your money work for you. And so you can keep doing music, and like also it enables you to, I don't know, like I try and work like this where like I don't always want to be chasing hits. I want to be chasing things that are cool and things that I believe in. And the second I try and start writing hits is when I don't write a hit. That's like my philosophy. And I think if you're like financially stable, it makes it that much easier to do.
I would say that it makes it easy in that sense.
Yeah.
I found it a little bit difficult in the first, year to 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Because the inverse of that is everybody thinks you are the key master to the hits. And then the number of times, especially, in that first year, you'd be in a room with people and everybody's good. You're as good as everybody. They're as good as you. And, you'd be like, what do you think about this idea? And they'd be like, I don't know. What do you think?
Right.
What do you think? You're like, what do you think?
Right. You know what you're doing, right? It's like,
know? And then you sit there and you're just kind of like, oh, like we're not doing this together now.
Right.
Like this person thinks, that I have some sauce that they've been looking for or that I haven't figured out in some way that they don't. And it happened for a while, or people kept trying to do the same thing I had already done on other songs. They wanted more of that, some of that. But in terms of, I totally agree, in terms of writing a hit, if you're sitting down being like, we need a giant song, you're just setting the stage wrong. You're setting the stage wrong. And I think for everybody, it's a journey. And for me, it has been really about tailoring what I respond to emotionally. Like, what do I think is going to resonate with this person's fans, whoever that is, and it's wildly different from person to person now, what constitutes a hit even for them, what they could convincingly pull off as an artist.
Sing, say lyrically, you know, it all matters. It's all
totally,
individual likes and dislikes and what works and what doesn't work. Yeah, Sophie, I wanted to talk about that a little bit more because, it's something we haven't talked about on the podcast. And I'm like, as I'm sitting here and you're saying that, I'm like, damn, I kind of went through a little bit of that too, where after I had one of my bigger songs, everyone was like, I felt such a shift in sessions as well, where like before, because I love collaborating. I love like, I think the producer is the quote unquote leader only because it's like, you're with the record the most amount of time, but I don't like it that it's like, even in the songwriting questions, everyone's like, what do you think? How did you go about, going through that, even when like after a couple months being like, man, this is different. Like, did you start switching up how you do sessions or talking to your team about things differently?
Well, at that time, the publishers and the managers were kind of double teaming my schedule and putting me in a lot of rooms, and I was working a lot. I almost didn't have time to sort of process what was going on there.
Right.
And there were many times where I was in rooms with people with more success than me, and I preferred that in those moments, not because I was deferential to them in any way or like looking at them, for it just sort of felt like there's certain people that I've encountered in the business that are thinking like that are thinking, how can I make things resonate? Mm-hmm. And then there are people who are oftentimes just trying to sound cool, trying to do something that sounds cool, thinking that sounding will be their big thing.
Right.
And I've had a long time to process the songs that I've had that have done the best.
Right.
And in many, many ways, I do not think they're the coolest. And sometimes I think that school is like the death of creativity for people. That's where the ego is.